I'm incredibly proud to be here. My wife has done a miracle. Bravo. And thank you to all her mentors, because without you guys, wouldn't be here. Thank you. And your cowboy hat. Okay, so Edelman does the Trust Barometer. We've done it for 22 years, and we've started to pick up the pace of doing the Trust Barometer because the world is so in flux. And so what I'm going to tell you today is a composite of about 6 or 7 studies that we've done over the last 3-4 years. So let me start out with some general points. Next slide, perfect. Key change in the world. Business is the most trusted institution. We look at business, NGO, media, and government. There was one moment in time in the height of the pandemic when government was the highest, but business has emerged as the most trusted institution. I'll explain why that is. It is because business is the most competent. Business is 50 points more competent than government, and that's the basis on which business is more trusted than government. Okay, next slide. So what you can see as a global number is that business is significantly ahead of government, quite close to NGOs. In the United States, business has a bigger lead over government. You can see the data from that one moment in time when government was ahead, but that was just a sort of figment of the imagination. Government disappointed in terms of competence. Key point during the pandemic. Next. I want you to appreciate the importance of the mass-class divide. The elites in the United States are very confident in their institutions. The people in the lowest quartile are deeply distrusting of their institutions. That gap has increased over time around the world. It was just US, UK, and France. Now it's frankly become transversal. Next slide. I want you to appreciate also that there are divisions within the United States, that in fact the least trusting part of the country is the Midwest, where I grew up. It was the most trusting, it is now the least trusting. Why? Because people are disappointed. They're disappointed because of globalization, which was promising great things and actually cost them their jobs. Jobs being outsourced. Their incomes are declining. They can't actually go on vacation or have a boat or things like that. So, in fact, economic outcomes determine trust. This is a key point for the Hispanic community. You'll see in a moment what I'm saying. Next slide. Moving along here. U.S. Hispanic optimism is going away. This is not something that you expect. I suspect that you expected me to say, we're the most trusting community. That's what I've told you in prior years. It's not true anymore. Why and what? Okay, take a look at this. Look at the drop in trust in the Hispanic community. The Hispanic community is the least trusting community in the group. What's going on here? Okay, and we've confirmed this not just in one data point, but in 2, and we believe that it'll be so in the January report we put out. What's going on here? Next slide. You need to unpack the pieces. I'm sorry that that little thing goes across. It's okay. I'll explain what this means. For the Hispanic community, the only institution that is trusted is business. The Hispanic community, compared to white, black, and Asian, has much lower trust in NGOs, government, and media. So despite your higher trust in business, you have lower trust in the 3 other institutions. If you do an average, it means overall that the Latino community is losing trust in institutions. I'll go into detail on this. The reason that Latinos are losing trust is job loss. You have PTSD from the pandemic. You more or less are scared like hell about the looming recession. Unemployment went, for the Latinos, from 5% to 15%. You were the first ones kicked out the door, and you were the last ones let back in the door. And you're in professions where it's, hospitality, travel, restaurants, things. If there's a recession, there's going to be a problem. Your respondents know this. And why are they scared? Lack of training. Look at the second number. The lack of skills doesn't enable them to move up the scale and get into jobs that are more secure. That's the challenge for business. If business is the most trusted institution, then we damn well better do reskilling, upskilling, and move your skills up. Next slide. Look at this slide. Optimism about the economy has diminished for Hispanics. Again, it's PTSD from the pandemic. Has not recovered. Hispanics used to be, in a certain way, somewhat like India. Like, everything is going to be great. You had a bad experience, and you're still scared. And that only gets eroded over time when you get the more confidence in your back and you feel like you're in the groove. Next slide. There's a huge job in this for companies. Take a look at what... You want me to slow down? Okay. Well, because I'm looking at the clock. I thought I was having a good groove here, but I'm getting edited. It's what happens at home. It's fine. I'll go slow. I'll be killed later. It's okay. I'm learning every day. Okay. Back to the serious stuff. Take a look at the expectations of you in the room as employers. 3 in 4 of the Latinos who responded to us say, I want my employers to do 3 things for me. When I came into the marketplace, just said, let me go up the company. I'm going to make a great career. I'm going to make more money. Give me a promotion. No. There are 3 things now that you're expected to do. Second point is personal empowerment. Listen to me. Let me tell you what I need. Don't just tell me what I'm going to do to you. And then the next, which is very new and interesting, is societal impact. My values are such that I will only work for a company which stands up and speaks up for Latinos and does things on sustainability and does reskilling and does the societal part of the relationship. So it's 3 things, not 1. Don't just give me a job and money. I'm not interested. Next. It is a positive that Latinos see progress on DE&I in the workplace. This is a good thing. Business is getting a good score on this. In fact, highest, ahead of black, etc. Meaningful progress, which means, again, I'm getting opportunities. Next. But I want you to see the dimension of what societal means. It's not one thing. It's not just sustainability. It is across human rights, healthcare access, racial justice, economic inequality, gender equality, climate change, gun safety, reproductive rights. Across all these, business has to perform. If you only do one, you fail. You have to have a dimensional approach to societal issues. Next. The thing that we have found the most in the trust barometer is action gives you trust. If you just talk and don't deliver, you actually have diminished trust. That's the problem with government. Government talks and doesn't do. Therefore, business has to fill the void left by government. We don't want hot air, we want results. Okay, so the business agenda for Latinos is interesting. It's different from the mainstream. Economic responsibilities. Give me jobs, drive innovation, grow the economy. That's obvious. That's the obvious business job. I've also proven the theory of societal responsibility. Again, sustainability, etc. Hispanics don't care so much about geopolitics. They don't care so much about the Ukraine-Russia or the China-Taiwan. It is more a home thing. It's not none, but it's not as large as the population in general. Also important, next, take a look at this, again, if you're trying to hire the best and brightest Latinos into your company. We have an equal number for the economic responsibility and the societal responsibility for business. This is big news for HR departments. This is not something that they get. They more or less say, we'll pay you well, we'll give you, upside. No, I want you to support our local community. I want you to train me. I want trustworthy information. The number one thing that grows trust in a company, give them facts. Give them facts about where they can get good stuff about vaccination, because they don't get good information. They don't have it. Trust is local. Trust is in my employer. My employer is 15 points higher than business in general. Your responsibility as a company, therefore, as dad or mom, is to tell the kids what's going on. Tell them the truth. Also, address this issue of cooperation. Carol Stern was so right today about polarization. A fascinating finding: the most credible place to discuss difficult issues is the workplace. Not across the fence in your neighborhood. It's in the office. You need a collaborative space. You need a safe space to talk. Next. Take a look at the benefit for business if you do this. The number one group who says that I will buy your brands if you do these things is Hispanics. They will give you their love. They will give you their wallet. They will give you whatever you want. But you got to do stuff for them. But also, they'll invest in your companies. And all of a sudden, Latinos have money that they're putting into stocks. So go to your investor relations people and say, we better do this stuff. There's real money in all of this. So let me try to bring all of this together. I've tried to tell you that you've got to commit to a sustained presence and commitment to this community. This can't be oh, let's do it today, let's not do it tomorrow, we have a recession coming, we better cut our budgets. Don't do that. Keep your foot on the accelerator. This community is growing, it is demanding, and it wants you to be in the game. Second, you've got to make sure you've got representation at all levels of the organization. Claudia is correct. It's gone from 1% to 4% of board directors. But I don't even think it's at that level for corporations. We got to do better on the sort of ladder and the network and all this. Third, you've got to address the root cause of why Hispanic institutional trust is low. It's fear. It's fear from the job loss of last time in the pandemic. Everybody has in the back of their head, I'm going to be replaced by a machine, or I'm just going to be fired. And they've got the right to be reskilled. And I don't mean just the people who are going to stay. I mean everybody who's in the company. It's a right to progress. The last thing that I'm telling you is demonstrate a meaningful commitment to societal change. We've got to make sure that it is not just I'm going to get up in the company, it's that my values are going to be equivalent to those of the corporation. I want to be with companies where I can express myself, where I can feel as if there's societal gain, and that I more or less am consistent in where I want to go and where the company wants to go. So thank you very much.